Good afternoon for those on the west coast of the US, and good morning for those in Asia. Another impromptu, uh, open, interactive discussion. I don't want to preach, I want to talk and listen. I promise I will be doing these a bit more often, and I'm sticking to it, at least for the next couple of days. This is to continue my um, Twitter Spaces discussion over the last 2 days, and my I can't call it rant, but a few tweets throughout the day on crypto IP, titled "Looking for the First Trillionaire." The reason, as you may know, I've been very, very bullish on crypto, the entire industry, not so much the tokens, but the entire industry. And since 2014, I've been saying that the primary battleground is being fought in intellectual property, patentable intellectual property. Um, that is not popular amongst the open source developer crowd. And I understand why. But not being popular is not synonymous with not being true or accurate. And I was quite confident. We're talking 90 percentile confident back in 2014, when we filed our first patent applications and when we did the initial studies. And now my competency level has pierced 100%, because we have the benefit of hindsight now. We could look back in history. It's 2021, towards the end, fourth quarter 2021. We look back at 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, and 21, and things have panned out exactly how I anticipated. Okay, we have banks who were poo-pooing Bitcoin and crypto and almost everything crypto related, and they were some of the most rampant followers of blockchain tech. Bank of America. We've had China, who has basically, literally outlawed crypto, except for their own homegrown crypto. And the Chinese have been the most prolific filers of Bitcoin patent applications. The Chinese government itself, China itself, very prolific filer. Chinese corporations, Alibaba as an entity, has been the most prolific filer for 2020, 19, if I'm not mistaken. And Chinese individuals, scientists, inventors, entrepreneurs. The US is coming second, and then we have actors in Europe, South Korea, Japan, etc. Japan is probably the best place for corporate crypto activity right now, particularly since the US, which has a larger economy, but ridiculously opaque and draconian regulatory regime. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but it is what it is. So let's get going. First of all, I want this to be interactive. Um, so the here someone says, Paul. Paul says, can we remove all the 98 million tokens that the SEC held on the blockchain? Okay, I'm going to answer that because it seems like it's off topic, but it actually is on topic. From the very beginning, okay, the very tokens were access to our products, services, and intellectual capital. It was a prepaid license fee to access these things. Okay, that's what the tokens were. The tokens are not securities, they're not bonds, they're not stocks. So the SEC has taken 98 million tokens. There's really no big issue. I will not honor those tokens. They might as well not exist. Okay, they travel through the blockchain. I can trace them, I can track them. If I were to back the very tokens with an asset, because the contract with the very tokens, the very token holders, were broken by the SEC's action. But let's suppose I were to try to reinvigorate it. I simply would not honor those 98 million tokens. Okay, by thinking those tokens have some type of value, when they're forcibly removed from me, you're falling into the token or is a security trap, which is just not the case. Okay, those tokens were prepaid license fees. Nobody paid the license fees. We don't have an agreement with them. If they pop up, they pop up and we just won't honor them. Okay, those tokens are null and void until or unless we say that they are not. It's just that simple. Okay, so suppose we have patents filed and granted all over the world. The patents are foundational tech. and they address much of the crypto industry at the protocol level. So you're talking above the code level, at the protocol level, then there's significant value. If we decide to use our very tokens, or we have no more very tokens, but decide to allow the very tokens to be used as a discount mechanism, then we do so. If those tokens come from a source that we do not appreciate, recognize, value, then it just doesn't happen. Okay, don't think in terms of tokens. Think in terms of value. That's where we are. Okay, tokens don't equal value. Tokens are just a unit of account, a representation of the value. Okay, we have complete control over our IP. Okay, hence complete control. Well, I can't say complete control over the value, but what we build, if it is of value, either to a marketplace or to individuals, then that's where the value comes from. It doesn't come from a token trading on a market or exchange or anything else. That was the mantra and the marketing from the very beginning. It has not changed, and I think we've proven it to be the case right now. Okay, so enough on that and the very tokens. There are only 51 people online. That's much less than it should be, but granted, it is 6 p.m. on the East Coast, and this is impromptu. But I would like everybody to share this thing to whatever social media contacts you have. Hit the like button, and if you're not subscribed completely to all notifications, please do. Let's move forward now. The first trillionaire. We first, let's discuss why I think the first trillionaire would be crypto IPO holder. Well, first of all, it will most likely be crypto because crypto is by far the fastest moving technology, the deepest, widest, and fastest moving paradigm shift that I've ever known about. I am 54, so I've been alive for the microcomputer. The mini computer, yes, but I wasn't old enough to do anything about it. So, mainframes and things such as that. The microcomputer paradigm shift, that was the IBM PC, which led into Microsoft. I've been alive and was able to participate in that paradigm shift. I was able to participate into the internet paradigm shift and the mobile technology, cell phone paradigm shift. And now we have the blockchain. This is primarily IT and telecommunications, disregarding things such as the mapping of the genome, etc. Okay, which is not my purview or expertise. And those, I don't know if they qualify for natural paradigm shift, not quite as world changing, but the internet was the biggest, arguably, and all combined with the mobile paradigm shift with the cell phones. But transferring information, transferring data, very, very different from transferring actual value. Actual value that can be stored, traded, is tangible, and lasting, and is autonomous and self-sovereign if applied the way it was originally intended to. Okay, this is the biggest thing that I've been alive for. I try and study finance and history. It's the biggest thing since electricity, or could be electric, and including electricity itself. So someone who is able to stake out a claim, real estate, in this burgeoning super city or super country or super world, super planet, is of significant wealth and value. Okay, the way to do that, a lot of people think that to gain maximum wealth in the crypto space, you should trade and buy and store units of account, tokens, coins, like the young man or woman was asking about the very tokens. You can make a lot of fiat that way relative to other asset classes. Bitcoin and Ethereum have proven that. Okay, but that's just like buying IP packets from the internet packets. You could purchase those. You could have made potentially a lot of fiat. I have an active puppy. I'm going to let him play, so please ignore the background noise. Okay, you could have made a lot of money. Use fiat. You could have made a lot of fiat money. He's barking at the cat. You could have made a lot of fiat money. Okay, but think about if you would have taken your efforts and resources and the fiat money used to purchase those internet packets and purchase the infrastructure of the actual internet. The marketing materials that we used initially when we were building Veritation. 1 second. Shaka, no, enough. Come. He's only 15 weeks old, so he's a little active. So the marketing materials that we use basically said, imagine owning the keys to the internet in 1993 or 1994. There were people and entities who felt that was extreme, braggadocious, unrealistic. Well, I'm not going to include myself in this search, but if you take a look at the things that we have filed and things that we have been granted, you'll see that it was very, very, very accurate. And that's in my subjective opinion. Of course, there's a bias there. Okay. We're able to obtain IP ownership rights to an entire paradigm shift, either at or just above the protocol level. Okay. So instead of securing a particular technology, Shaka, he starts this immediately right when I start doing a video. So this is informal, but the information is valuable. So you can put up with the dog barking. So instead of attempting to patent a particular way of doing things from a granular technical perspective, such as patenting a fork of a blockchain or patenting a way of remitting currencies from a point of sale device. What we've done, what I initially imagined, was to create a system, a methodology of transferring value, regardless of the source or the destination, regardless of the medium, okay, in a zero trust, counterparty, risk free way. And if we're able to grab ownership of that, we're able to basically grab ownership of this entire paradigm. Okay, so we're going to put what we've done, Reggie Middleton Veritation, to the side, and we're going to move to what others have done, because what others have done is very, very interesting. A lot of times when people research crypto, they start with a Google search. Google's a search engine, so I'm not knocking them in any way whatsoever. But garbage in, garbage out. Okay, if you know what to search for, you'll get a significant result. If you simply type in random text words, you'll get pretty much that back out. Okay, a lot of people then go to the news sites. CoinDesk is a primary crypto news site. I know CoinDesk has never covered any of my positive accomplishments, and I've had quite a few of them actually. But they have covered litigation with regulators, me getting, or my service provider getting hacked, etc. Okay, in doing that, if you use CoinDesk as a research mechanism, you miss an awful lot, and you miss an awful lot of investable advice. And it's not just me. So I suggested in one of my Twitter spaces, and again, this is not knocking CoinDesk or any other media outlet. This is basically explaining how ineffective and neutering of actual valuable research abilities it is to attempt to research a topic by going through news sites and doing a raw naked Google search without being well versed in what it is you're searching and narrowing things down. So I suggested that members of my Twitter space, I had 2 or 3 Twitter space conversations last week and over the weekend, and I suggested we go through patent filings. I am not the only one who has decided to attempt to lay title to this very fertile ground of which massive cities will be built, massive countries and cities will be built. You have members of the community and the industry, such as the Winklevoss brothers. You have this puppy's going berserk right when we started the video. He was asleep all this time. We have the Winklevoss twins. We have Craig Wright. We have many people from New York and Brooklyn, where I'm from, and they have some very interesting patents. Let's give some examples. And these are individuals. We also have institutions. We have Wells Fargo, which patented a math-based currency system. So basically, crypto. The Winklevoss twins also have a math-based currency patent application. And in the abstract, they mention the patenting, creation, trading, storing of math-based currency. They explicitly mention things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, okay, Tether. That is what they're looking to put a stake in. Now, And these are granted patents, by the way. These are not applications. They're granted. But as you go through the patents, if you understand patenting this particular technology industry, business strategy, and paradigm, you see significant weaknesses. Okay, for instance, without going to the technical stuff, and we're going to try and avoid going to into the technical stuff, but I also want to make a comment on that in a minute. Um, Looking at its value in terms of disruptive potential and novelty. Inventive step is how it's discussed in the actual parlance of the industry. Okay, the Winklevoss twins patent app had to cite well over 300 sources, or nearly 300 sources, which meant that it had to recognize that these 300 sources either came up with the idea first or had a patent on it first. So they have to wiggle through all 300, 280, 90 some odd 300 sources and then make their patent fit between the lines. And then they only were cited by 27 sources, which means that's not that novel, it's not that inventive, it's not that disruptive. It's building upon what others did before. We have Wells Fargo, and the Winklevoss twins patent app was 2013. It was actually very early. Okay, that's when it was filed. Um, and it was granted, I believe, somewhere around 2018. It sounds like it's valuable and disruptive. When you take a look at it, not so much so. This is my opinion. I'm not a patent attorney. Okay, the Wells Fargo patent app, better. Okay, cites much less sources, cited by a few more. But again, it looked like it was written by a bank, and it was. So they're targeting bank procedures, bank processes. This is so much bigger than that. Okay, by definition, a strong patent should circumvent the banking system and obviate the banking system and make obsolete the banking system in entirety. Okay, that's when you have a powerful paradigm shifting disruptive patent application. Someone else of interest is Halsey Minor. He was the founder of CNET, if I'm not mistaken, and also the founder of Uphold, which is a crypto exchange slash service provider. And he has filed a patent application for asset-backed tokens. Very interesting. He's been cited by 87 some odd sources. Very strong, and I haven't seen any cites that he had to make. Okay, so that seems very, very, very disruptive and or very, very unique and inventive. Okay, and novel. But A, it hasn't been granted yet. It may be, but he filed it a while back. I think 2014, which means he's doing a lot of prosecution, which means he's getting a lot of pushback from the patent office. B, it's filed only in the US, and that is a weakness that most Europeans and Americans tend to do. They're very European, American, Caucasian centric. That is a mistake, in my opinion, because most of the crypto activity, okay, much of it, if not most of it, comes out of Asia. The highest use case or the highest use country in terms of crypto activity is in Africa, Nigeria. The largest amount of patent applications, as I say, comes from China. The best corporate environment for crypto use as of right now is Japan. So why only file in the US and Europe? I believe it's a mentality that's very difficult to shake. Okay, I have no such mentality, and I'm sure many other entrepreneurs who have much more of a worldview will view things differently. Move forward again. We have Craig Wright, very popular fellow. Whether you like him, hate him, love him, he has filed roughly nearly 900, about 900 patent applications. Again, though, primarily in the US and Europe. Okay, primarily. He's filed some personally. He seems to have been funded by a third party, a wealthy individual, and he's also filing through corporations and intellectual property holding companies such as Enchain, etc. He has well over 100 patents issued, if I'm not mistaken, 800 something filed and pending. I'm looking at some of the patents. He had to cite our patents, and just the mere amount of patents he's filed has to have a portfolio of significant value. Okay, But the patents that I've seen filed, again, they seem to be coming from a technological perspective. I could tell he was an engineer, computer scientist, etc., because very, very unique, specific tranches he's looking to file for and protect, and he's received them. You add these up into a portfolio, it's significant value. But it doesn't seem to be foundational technology. Foundational technology is technology that is a changer. It is basically the technology that acts as a foundation for an entire paradigm shift to occur. Examples would be the integrated chip, the IC, foundational technology, of which the entire computer industry is built upon, and by connection, the entire software industry and the entire telecommunication industry. So basically, all of information technology is based upon the IC. That's foundational technology. Another example would be battery technology, the wheel. An example that's not foundational but extremely accretive would be Jeff Bezos. What made Jeff Bezos so wealthy? It is not Amazon. It is the fact that he was able to patent the one-click buy methodology. Ridiculously simple, but nobody patented it. He did, which gave Amazon a significant advantage over realistically probably 16 years. Okay, the patent life is 20 years. It takes a few years to get it. And the result is obvious. You know, Amazon, if it's not $1 trillion company, I believe it is. It will be very soon. I know it goes up and down. I haven't followed equities because I think equities is a ridiculous bubble. Yes, their prices are going up simply from quantitative easing. So those are examples of foundational technologies. The paradigm shift that is the crypto industry is nothing but right. Crypto itself is a foundational technology. The inventor, whether it's Craig Wright or not, don't want to get into that, don't really care. It's irrelevant who invented it. But Satoshi Nakamoto chose not to patent the technology. So all that technology initially is existing prior art, but improvements upon this are patentable and they are significant. Okay, the improvements upon the initial Bitcoin concept are mind staggering and blowing. Okay, this is our fertile land. So it's much less relevant who becomes the first trillionaire, to be absolutely honest. Much more relevant who jumps in behind them and lays claim in terms of investments, whether it's equities or tokens or any type of private equity, etc. Because if you get it right, you find this group, this company, this individual, this project, and you put your capital in, right? The curve is not exponential. It's literally nearly a straight line up. Okay, and it will be unprecedented. That can be shown arithmetically. It's not just stating, it's not just opinion. All you have to do is look at recent history, look at other paradigm shifts, look at the potential here, and look at the likely scenarios, give or take any variable you wish. Okay, this sensitivity analysis will be one like you've never seen before. So find the right one. I want to take some questions. I've been on for 20 minutes. It's a dirty game. Gotta love Japan for being so friendly toward cryptos. Actually, we need to speak on that. Japan is friendly towards cryptos because Japan has it right. The reason why any sovereign nation will be unfriendly towards cryptos are twofold. One, simple ignorance of what the crypto industry is, which is shared not just by sovereign bureaucrats, but by many, okay, including investors, old school finance guys. They just don't know what it is. They hear something from the media, reported by reporters who really don't understand what it is either. No offense to reporters. And then, FUD ensues, okay? The other reason is the result of that fear, that FUD, is to lose control. Okay, sovereign nations are able to run their nations through centralized control of their economy, their currency, their military, etc. The decentralized nature threatens them. Okay, it doesn't have to be that way. As a matter of fact, there are aspects of much of the crypto industry that sovereigns would should beg to have. Why hasn't the U.S. banned Bitcoin? Because you have a lot of bad actors using Bitcoin who've read ignorantly media articles saying Bitcoin's anonymous. They do a crime using Bitcoin. There's a trail leading right to them. This is something that the Department of Justice could never afford to and effectively build on their own. It was given to them, and bad actors volunteer to use it. Why would you ban something like that? Okay, so moving forward, uh, lost my train of thought. Moving forward, the reason why Japan is so amenable to cryptos is they don't have this fear. Japan had their boom, their bust, they had the technological period, and they recognized the crypto industry for what it is, an opportunity to gain a much lighter footprint on the global stage. And they're doing it from the corporate perspective, and they're coming up with their Japanese CBDCs as well. Okay, their regulatory stance is not about defend our extant banks at all costs and destroy any entrepreneurs who are not part of the old boys club, like some very powerful countries that I know. Their stance is embrace it, write clear legislation, clear regulation. Read this, you follow these rules, you're good. If you don't follow the rules, we'll come after you. I think that's all most entrepreneurs want to know. A clear set of rules. Don't attack us for being innovative. Embrace us. And everybody can share and spread the love and the fruits of the labors. Unfortunately, that's not the way it is everywhere. It's like that in Japan. Japan has a significant head start. A significant head start. Okay. Reggie? What is your take on XRP and the Ripple lawsuit with the SEC? Well, I am not totally unbiased. I'm not a big fan of the SEC's enforcement arm as it relates to crypto and my entities and myself. The lead prosecutor for the SEC going against Ripple is also the lead prosecutor who actually came after us. So, with that being said, knowing that I am not unbiased in this, um, I'm not going to speak on XRP because XRP is literally just a token. And it's a token that Ripple uses for a variety of things. I'm not going to get into detail because I don't want to add fodder to the lawsuit of any side. But from a technical perspective, it's primarily used to um, facilitate the on-demand liquidity. And it simply acts like a bridge. You take a fiat currency, you buy XRP, then you take the XRP, you buy another fiat currency, and you have the value chain go from one place to another. That's something that we patented a long time ago, 2014. Um, Ripple has a very, very elegant, complex product, much more so than I think most people realize if you actually pour through the code. As for how they're doing with the SEC, bravo, excellent job. They are by far doing a better job defending themselves against the SEC than any crypto entity that I have come across since I've been in the business. One reason is they are not a brand new startup. They are cash flowing, revenue generating. They have um, resources for their defense team. As I understand it, they actually hired the chairman of the SEC under the Obama administration, Mary Jo White. They also hired the chief of enforcement, and they hired White Case, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very strong firm. They have roughly, as I understand it, okay, again, this is as I understand it, 25 attorneys on the case full time, and they are kicking ass. Okay, bravo. I am in strong favor of companies being able to defend themselves uh, against, and now I'm not filling the blanks. Okay, what do you make of Theta and its patents and NFT framework? I haven't studied Theta in depth, so I can't discuss it and its patents. It seems interesting. It seems high performance, but my opinion means absolutely nothing because it is opinion and not fact. And the only way it would be fact is for me to educate myself, which I just don't have time to do. Okay. NFT is a very, very interesting technology. Most people, again, don't understand what NFTs are. When you speak NFTs, they think of artwork and music. No, not even close. The game-changing use case for NFTs in the short to medium term has nothing to do with the arts. Contracts, identity. That's it. Okay. And that's not it. It does much more. But I'm saying contracts and identity, you're talking $1 trillion business right there in terms of NFTs. Okay. So a lot of people who poo poo NFTs just because, um, it start, you have to look at what the technology does and is capable of and what the use cases are, not how it started. Okay. The gaming industry and the NFTs can likely transform the gaming industry and merge the physical world that the previous generation or two generations ago were familiar with the newest generation. So the metaverse nomenclature and mantra becomes real. What would you do if you were a musician and you wanted to offer music services to Reggie? I don't know because I don't know what Reggie. That's a difficult question. So make good music. That's a good start. Um, How's my litigation coming with patents? I am not litigating with anybody. I am prosecuting with government agencies around the world. Okay. I am not a patent troll. I don't like litigation. Um, so we'll avoid it by all costs. But, if someone does take something that belongs to us and doesn't want to discuss it, we'll act as anybody else acts if they were robbed. Okay. But I am the last person to ever want to jump into litigation. Is Cardano here to say? What's your thoughts? Well, we'll have to have Cardano become a more advanced system and we can find out. You can't predict the future, but we can take a strong look at the present. Cardano is just getting started. Once they implement their smart contracting system, I think it might be worth a strong look. Until then, I'm not smart enough to tell. You'd have to ask somebody else. Ripple was selling billions of XRP to their banker partners at a deep discount, and then same banks would dump XRP on the open market. Both the banks and Ripple made billions. Okay, well, making money is not a bad thing. Believe it or not, I would actually like to make money, and I will not fault anybody who actually has a problem making money. Shaka, no. This puppy wakes up as soon as I start doing a video. It's amazing. No, drop. Drop. I was kind of joking, but thank you for reading my question, my friend. Okay, no problem. A lot of people are very serious. The anti-capitalism, in other words, they have a problem and others make money, except for themselves, of course. Okay, puppies are great. Let me see if I can show you the cause of this problem. Shaka, come, come. Ugh. So, this is my, today's his birthday, by the way. See, he has paper he just ripped up. This is my 15-week-old, as of today, Bauble puppy. He's a South African Mastiff, and he's destructive, as you wouldn't believe. Of course, he sleeps up until I need him to be quiet, and then he destroys everything. Don't lick me. Don't like puppy kisses. No. Okay. So, puppies. He's a cute puppy. He's just destructive. More questions. You did an analysis of PPT a few years back. Are you still watching PPT or working with them, as Nico said in 2018, if whatever it is correct? Um, we did that analysis back in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure it's stale. That was 4 years ago. Um, uh, Nico said that he was going to list the very tokens on his exchange. Um, I'm assuming he did it. I haven't been following. I don't have an active relationship with them, but there's definitely I'm not averse to it at all. So if they want to do business, just step up and talk to us. We're more than willing. Okay. Now we have 146 people. Please, everybody, share this link. Let's get more people on board. Okay. Hit the likes, pound them. You know what to do to get more people involved. Highly respect you and your work. Where do you see blockchain technology in 10 years? Honestly, it's absolutely irrelevant where I see it in 10 years because And something that moves this fast and is this new and unique, 10 years is like predicting what the weather would be like 110 years into the future. Okay, you have absolutely no idea what Monday evening would be like in terms of weather 110 years forward. And just like you have no idea what the weather would be, none of us, no matter how smart you think you are, will know what the blockchain technology industry would look like 10 years in the future. My bet would probably be that blockchain technology might not even exist in its current form or fashion because it will most likely um, be advanced. You know, there's going to be faster, better technology. It may or may not be blockchain. I don't know. And I'm smart enough to realize I don't know. And I'm honest enough to say I don't know. I'm not the smartest man in the world by far, but I am better at this than some others. Okay? How difficult is it to actually enforce a patent where the defendant doesn't want to buy a license? That's a big question. But I can give you an example in Japan, which is, I think, the most advanced crypto market. The average patent litigation time period is 12.12 months. So it takes a year from start to finish to come up with the verdict. Okay? Usually, if the infringement is clear and significant, nobody wants to fight. The patent holders don't want to fight. The alleged infringers don't want to fight. Nobody wants to fight in court. Okay, so if it's clear, you work out a deal, and it's usually friendly. To be absolutely honest, we are very, very good at this. The reason why we have a patent that is so broad is because we came up with this idea in 2013, where most people weren't even aware of it until 2018. We're talking 4, 5, 6 year difference. Okay, we're still inventing things right now. We're still grinding right now, grinding and grinding and grinding and inventing. Okay, I would much rather team up with partners, with distributors, with vendors, with exchanges, and then have them implement our ideas as a partner. Okay, and they can code to their heart's content. Okay, and we simply act as a partner. If you don't want to act as a partner, no problem. Then you can simply buy a license. And if you don't want to buy a license, but you are using the technology, well, then you're stealing. Okay, and nobody can afford to be stolen from for long. When we find out about moves and partnerships you have in Japan, I have absolutely no idea. Remember, we have private entities, and not everybody wants their business displayed all over YouTube Live. It's not a good way to do business if you want to do business in the future. But if any of the potential partners, if we were to have any, I'm not saying we do, if we were to have any, or we were to have any in the future, if they're amenable to publicizing any agreements or the use of the technology, then I will do so. Otherwise, you know, loose lips sink ships. Are you aware of Chris Webbot predicting that the U.S. government will need to approach you at some point in the future for help in resurrecting the economy, monetary system with their technologies? I am aware of that prediction from the Webbot. I have no comment on it. Chris, the smart guy. I hope it comes true, but we'll see. Okay. Thanks and appreciate your time and the sharing for my comments. I took forward to working with you. My partner and I use the most cutting edge intuition and science in the universe to make music happen. Okay. Okay. So, um, I think I've covered quite a few things. Uh, Patent filers, patent holders. I think I explained why I believe the first trillionaire would most likely be a holder of crypto IP. And that's in a way a little clickbaity, okay? But everybody's interested in trillionaires and centered billionaires, etc. But we have animals everywhere. I apologize. There's not a single animal in this room until I decided to do a YouTube video. Okay, so, but the interesting part of this is that shows you where you should be putting your investing dollars, in my opinion. If you're looking for medium to long-term gains. Okay, you put your money where the smart people, where the smart money goes, and the smart money does buy units of account. I'm sure there's large purchases of Bitcoin and Ethereum, etc. But here's an interesting quick story before I go. The I was in a room in Clubhouse. Sometimes I sit in back of crypto rooms and Twitter Spaces, etc. Because I have been alleged, told, accused of not being in touch with the common crypto investor or the common corporate entity because I think differently early, whatever. Maybe I'm just weird, not as smart as they are. So I sit back and I listen to the average person what they say. I commented once on how to value Bitcoin, okay, and Ethereum, and the dangers of Bitcoin maximalism, okay. And then this was on Clubhouse, and then commenter said, if you took all the money, right, that you spent building applications on Ethereum and filing for patents and doing all these things, if you took all that money and you placed it in Bitcoin, would you be better off by buying Bitcoin or doing all the other things you actually did? So I thought about it. I thought back. I counted everything up in my head mentally, and I give him a resounding no. I said absolutely not. Okay, you will never make more money buying Bitcoin than you would owning the Bitcoin network. Period. Okay, because everybody's transactions will be giving you Bitcoin. Okay, you own the network. That's like saying, which would you rather do, be a car dealer or own the concept of a car? It's not even close. So on that, I'd like to bid you adieu. We've been on for 42 minutes. I'll take a couple more questions. Um, let's see. It was more than suspicious that the SEC targeted Reggie the way they did. I don't want to speak about the SEC. I can't afford to fight with them right now. Don't want to fight with them. It's no upside to it, so I'll not speak on it. Uh, it's interesting. You can just do a simple search and you can see, "Nah, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother." Okay? It's like this. There are two camps. There's guys who believe that story and but guys who believe my story. Let's put it that way. Okay? Thank you for the gift. Okay, well, thank everybody who's giving me accolades and platitudes. I definitely do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Everybody, if you are not a member of the Veritasium official Telegram group, please join it. Join Telegram, download the app, go to the website, join it, do a search for Veritasium official, and join that group. That is a community-led group. It is not my group per se, but it's roughly 3,000 strong, very intelligent, very knowledgeable, very old, very holders, and very community members. They are doing a lot of interesting things. They just released the no action letter request that was sent to the SEC. They act as their own, on their own, to petition SEC for clarity and guidance in using the very tokens. I will not comment on that, but you could go to the group and ask them how it went. You can actually download the letter from the pinned groups. They're starting a DAO, a digital autonomous organization. That digital autonomous organization will work with the Veritasium entities in maximizing the value of the IP. Fantastic, interesting stuff. Basically, a new form of governance, of people coming together, of crowdsourcing intellect and ability. Very proud of them. They stood behind me through allegations of fraud and wrongdoing and saying I would get patents when I wouldn't get patents and all this other stuff. The alleged defrauded stood by my side, and I'm very proud to be a member of the community myself. Okay, so many things I will not speak on, but the very community members will speak on them directly. If I'm assuming they would, if you ask them. Okay, that's the Veritasium official group in Telegram. I don't know how you got to me, but if you don't follow me on Twitter, at Reggie Middleton on Twitter, and then there's LinkedIn, etc. But I'm most active on Twitter and Telegram. Okay, let me take two more questions, and then I'm gonna go walk puppies and clean up the ridiculous mess that he made in my house chasing the cat. Calorie-based currency. I don't get that. Okay. Reggie, when will it be possible to trade stocks on a blockchain? Well, you were able to do that back in 2014 and 2013 with our um, BTC-based swap application. You trade stock value through the blockchain, not the actual physical stocks. But we can do that as well, the tokenization. And that's an interesting segue into researching and patents. Um, as I said, Halsey Minor filed a patent application for the tokenization of assets. It wasn't granted, but it's interesting. Okay. Even more interesting is if he gets that granted, which would be very, very powerful, that is a potentially foundational technology. But if he gets it granted and the value transfers, that would most likely infringe on our patent. So again, it shows you the value of foundational technologies. Um, this crypto thing is getting advanced, and if you do not have a multidisciplinary perspective and approach, you're going to miss a lot. So if you're a lawyer, you need to learn finance, macro, and tech. If you're a developer, you need to learn law and finance and macro. Okay, if you're a finance and macro guy, you need to learn some tech and some law. And that's the only way to approach this from a holistic perspective and, sit down to eat a dinner. Sit down to eat, a bowl of rice and end up leaving a 5-course meal on the table when you leave. Okay. On that note, I'm going to bid you adieu. Okay. Thank you for following me, everybody. In the comments, please leave me your preferred method of doing this communication. Whether it's YouTube or Twitter Spaces or Clubhouse. Those are the three that would entertain. Or Telegram. When I have some assistance, not part of we need assistance, I'll do Zoom where we could actually have, I'll need some assistance actually. I'll do Zoom, and Zoom will allow cameos and interviews and two-way conversations with video. But that is something that I need somebody to participate with because we have bad actors. We have quite a few administrators and mods in the Telegram group, so they will most likely be the ones doing it in the near future. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for coming to support. Listen, I hope you learned something. If you didn't, please let me know how I can improve this. If you have questions for me, ask them in Twitter. Okay? You can ask some in the YouTube comments, but I can't really go through YouTube comments. Ask them in Twitter. Much easier for me to go back and forth with you. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for coming.